question I had from last week. Everybody ready?
AA from McKinney, Texas. Is the hadith that says that the Ummah will split into 73 sects and those being saved are those who are on the way of the Salaf weak?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Question says, is the hadith that says that my Ummah will split into 73 sects and all of them will be in hell except for one, and that is the sect that is upon that which, or is upon the way of the Salaf, is that weak, etc. Jazakallah khairan for the question. First and foremost is, there is no hadith with that wording. No hadith says all of them will be in the hellfire except for those who are upon the way of the Salaf. Then obviously, I know what you mean. You're trying to say, Ma ana alayhi al-yawma wa ashabi, that which me and my companions are upon, which is the way of the Salaf, the Sahaba, but that wording isn't the prophetic wording. That isn't the prophetic wording, okay? And there's a difference, and it can be interpreted. It's not the prophetic wording. So that's first and foremost. Secondly is, know for sure that this hadith is a very long and extensive topic of discussion among the people of knowledge. And there's some of the ulama who wrote books on it, such as As-San'ani, rahimahullah, Sahib Sulad, lahu risala fi hadith al-iftiraq. Shaykh Al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah ta'ala, he discussed the hadith in some type of detail, so much so that some people have made a special book out of it, which is in Majmu' al-Fatawa, speaking on hadith al-iftiraq. Ibn Hazm, this one, that one. There are many, many ulama who spoke about this hadith in depth. And the summary of their discussions can be broken down into the following points. Number one, those that deal with the authenticity of the hadith. Is the hadith authentic as a whole or weak? Is the hadith authentic as a whole, but certain parts and additions are weak? Moving away from the authenticity, the meaning of the hadith and the problematic issues that are mentioned in this hadith. All of the Muslims will burn in hell except for a small, minute number. Many of the ulama, they say that's problematic. How can most of the Ummah of Muhammad be destined to hell? That's problematic. And then there are other ulama who say that the hadith is authentic bil jumla, in general. Certain additions are more authentic than others, such as hiya al-jama'ah. Hadith that says they will be kulluha halika, they'll be destroyed. Or one version may say kulluha fi an-nar illa wahida, and the one that will be saved, he says hiya al-jama'ah, it is the jama'ah. And they say that is more authentic than the part that says ma ana alayhi al-yawma wa ashabi, that which me and my companions are upon today, even though they do not differ on that part of the hadith being authentic with regards to its meaning. Even if its chain is weak, there's no difference of opinion of the validity of the meaning of that part of the hadith. The saved sect will be that which upon, or that which me and my companions are upon today. Before bid'ah, before fighting, before the thirst and the greed for the dunya, before imitating the kuffar, I wanted to look like the kuffar, before becoming cowardly and fearful of the kuffar, etc. So that's correct. No, one way or another. Everybody clear on this? So I know many of you, you're looking at with like strange faces. Perhaps it's the first time you ever heard this. I've never even thought or heard that the hadith could even possibly be weak, considered to some scholars. And there are reasons behind that. What's important is, the question was posed and I answered the question to the best of my knowledge. These are the scholars of Islam. They have a very long, detailed discussion on this hadith. Some of them deal with the level of authenticity as a whole. Some deal with the level of authenticity partial. And some deal with the actual fiqh al-hadith. And then obviously even more problematic is what is the jama'ah? And what is that which my companions are upon, me and my companions are upon today? Okay? Or another issue, it was very problematic today. The Muslims, who is considered Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah? Is Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah only the dawah group that say that we're Salafis? Dawah to Salafiyya, Nahnu Salafiyun? Or is from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah the other Muslims that have the general belief of the Quran and the Sunnah, such as Jama'at al-Tabligh and Ikhwan al-Muslimun, and such as Sufis? Do they have mistakes and errors with them? There's no question about that. Every dawah group has mistakes. Every dawah group, every modern dawah group has something that they're practicing from the deen and something that they're totally neglecting and abandoning from the deen. Let alone mistakes and incorrect interpretation of Quran and Sunnah. Every dawah group has some type of strength and some type of what? Weakness. And we never said Ahlul Sunnah, we said dawah group. Said modern, what? Dawah group. A word of a difference between the Salaf al-Salih, the way of the Salaf al-Salih, and the Salafis. There's a word of a difference. Everybody understand this? Modern Dawah movement is not necessarily what it claims to be. People say we're people of Tazkiyah. The Sufis of today. It doesn't mean that they're upon the actual way of wahakadha. So that's first and foremost, huh? So with that being said, brothers and sisters, who is considered to be from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah? What takes a person out of the circle in the realm of the Sunnah? Making a mistake or two or three, that's a very long discussion. And the last thing that I'll say is that there are many people, I would say most people today, do not have a proper understanding of this hadith. And have a twisted and warped interpretation of this hadith, whether it's authentic or whether it isn't. If you're with my group, my masjid, you follow me, you blindly follow my scholar, you're a fanatic from my school, then you're Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and you're Salafi. You don't come to my masjid, sit with me, you don't follow my sheikh, you're not a fanatic to all of my views, Aqidah views, fiqh views. No, you can't sit like that. You're not Salafi no more. Because we differ on the issue of what? Well, how could that? This is a huge problem, and it's widespread among scholars, students of knowledge, du'ats. It's a huge widespread problem. What is meant by that? Ahlul Sunnah, huh? Orthodox Islam versus non-Orthodox Islam. Shia, Rafida. It's a very, very, very long discussion, huh? Which we do not have the time to get into right now. Perhaps with the ta'ala, we can have a separate lecture or lecture series on it because it's important. But what I want to mention now is beware of being a fanatic and you holding the keys to the door of the Sunnah. You let anyone in you want. And you kick anyone and keep out that you want. Because of trivial issues and fiqh issues. That's incorrect. Okay? You're not wearing a white thobe, so that's a khattab. So you're not Salafi. You're not calling to the Quran and Sunnah. You're not upon the truth. Don't benefit from him. Don't listen to him. So and so because you're not wearing a white thobe. It's the attitude of many people today. Or last but not least, brothers, for argument's sake, Brother Lutfi made a mistake. Fi'lan akhta. He made an error. What does that mean? All of the years he was overseas, the books he wrote, the class that he gave, they're all now useless and baseless. Discard them, get rid of them. By Allah, I ask you, is that from common sense? Forget the text of Quran and Sunnah. Is that from common sense? For someone to spend 20, 30 years teaching Quran and Sunnah and they make a mistake and they go against someone. Now everything that he wrote and said is useless. And not only does that go against common sense, but what happens when a table is turned around against you, as we see clearly today? We mentioned this before with regards to an oppressive bully. One day, the lion will eat this bull. And if it isn't stopped in its transgression, the next day the lion will become hungry again. And then know for sure a time will come in which that lion will what? Unleash its powerful jaws upon. And history has taught us that. He's a deviant for this issue, for that issue, no problem. Everyone jumps against him, abandons him. 10 years go by, then it's now your turn. And the closest one to me, Abdul Wadud, now I forsake you. You're this, you're that, you have no proof, you have no evidence, so on and so on and so forth. But 10, 20 years ago, you were a mountain. It happens. So we have to be very careful with this, brothers and sisters. And Allah knows best.